Hi everyone, for today's featured ocean liner we're going to be checking out the French Champollion. This was one of two sister vessels, with the other one being the Mariette Pasha. Champollion entered service in 1925 and serviced the express run from France over to the eastern Mediterranean, servicing particularly Alexandria and Port Said in Egypt and Beirut in Lebanon. Both vessels were named after people involved in Egyptology, and thus, particularly with Champollion, the interior reflected what I can only describe as a fusion between French Art Deco, or even Art Nouveau, and ancient Egyptian. And you can see some renderings up here. These renderings of the interior, particularly the spectacular view of the dining room, are based off period postcards. The colors aren't as vivid in the illustrations as they are in the postcards, but I do hope that these give you a sense of the interesting decor on board the Champollion. Certainly an interesting fusion of styles. Champollion entered service for the French company Messageries Maritimes, and I apologize for my pronunciation. And its vital statistics were as follows. The ship weighed 12,263 gross tons, had a length of 520 feet, which equates to about 158 meters, a beam of 40 feet, which equates to 12 meters, and with two triple expansion steam engines, the ship could chug along at a rather decent speed of 16.5 knots, with 949 passengers being served by a crew of 310. Now, this ship operated without incident, and in 1934 it was decided to adjust the bow, perhaps to improve its performance, and it acquired a raked Mayer-form bow, which you can see up here, although its three-funneled profile remained unchanged. After the Second World War, the ship was rebuilt and given a far more modern profile, and its three funnels were merged into one far more streamlined unit. And suddenly the ship looked quite good. Its life in the post-war world was cut very short. On the night of the 22nd December 1952, as the Champollion was approaching Beirut, it was a stormy night. Conditions weren't ideal, and unfortunately, the Al Manara lighthouse was out of order. For whatever reason, the bridge crew weren't informed of this, and the light that they saw was actually a beacon for Beirut Airport. Using that as their marker, unfortunately, that guided them in, and they ended up smashing into the beach off the Lebanese suburb of Khalde. Smashing onto the beach, the ship immediately started to roll over onto its port side, and while an evacuation was undertaken, and many people went out to the beach and into the water to help rescue those that were swimming, unfortunately 17 people lost their lives through the evacuation and the very rough conditions. And there's some video footage showing the evacuation taking place. The way the ship was positioned, and with the wave action, fractured the hull. And, as you can see from this reconstruction, the ship ultimately broke in two. There are photos showing this break widening, and with the fierce wave action, much of the side of the ship that was facing the surf would actually be washed away, similar to what happened to the former America/Australis when it was rolling over in those final years off the Canary Islands. But this happened much, much quicker. The wreck was useless, and it was ultimately sold to Lebanese scrappers who cleared the wreck from the beach. a very sad and unfortunate end to a spectacular ship. I mean, these interiors are nothing like what we've seen in the past and should be highlighted and shared around far more often. A very interesting fusion of two interesting styles. There is one spectacular website about the ship's company, and I've linked that below, and that was the source of most of the photos of which I've used for the reconstructions. And also we have this book in English, which is part of Duncan Hawes's Merchant Fleet series, Meilleries Maritimes, which is number 36 in his series. This is probably the most accessible for this company book, and I mean it is in English. And with today's technology, while the website is fully in French, it auto-translates depending on what your browser settings are. So it's very easy to read all the information and all the captions. The link to the website is down below. So please check out this ship and any other French ocean liners, because they certainly deserve a much brighter spotlight than what they currently get. So check them out.